Bonsai trees are timeless symbols of patience and harmony. They're miniature forms carrying the wisdom of nature in every leaf. The bottle bonsai grove planters take that tradition and give it a modern twist, transforming recycled bottles into a peaceful forest of life. Imagine bottles painted in earthy browns and mossy greens, shaped to resemble tiny trunks. From the top sprout herbs and small plants, carefully trimmed into bonsai-like crowns. When grouped together on a wooden tray, they form a miniature grove that feels like a sanctuary. The process of crafting these planters is meditative and rewarding. Old bottles are cut and painted with bark-like textures, sometimes decorated with moss or stone accents. Herbs such as basil, parsley, or mint are planted, then pruned gently to mimic the shape of bonsai canopies. Families can arrange several bottles together, creating a grove that feels alive with tranquility. Children especially enjoy watching how trimming changes the plant's form, learning patience as the garden grows. Beyond their calm beauty, these bonsai bottle planters are functional hydroponic systems. They conserve water and space while providing fresh herbs for everyday use. Their compact size makes them ideal for patios, balconies, or even indoor desks, where they can serve as both decoration and meditation. For families, creating bonsai bottle gardens is an exercise in mindfulness, a chance to slow down and shape nature with care. For communities, a bonsai grove made from bottles can become a shared installation, reminding people of balance, creativity, and sustainability. And when sunlight touches a grove, casting soft shadows across their tiny crowns, the bottles seem less like waste and more like wisdom, reborn as a force of patience and life. Proof that even discarded plastic can carry serenity, artistry, and growth. Aquariums hold a sense of wonder, capturing the beauty of the sea in a glass box of life. The Bottle Aquarium World Garden brings that same magic to land, turning recycled bottles into miniature oceans that bloom with green. Imagine bottles painted in deep blues, decorated with coral reefs, clownfish, and starfish. From their top sprout herbs like basil or mint, making the planters look like aquariums where plants rise like seaweed in the current. The crafting process is creative and joyful. Old bottles are cut and painted with aquatic themes, waves swirling across the sides, fish darting among coral, and bubbles floating upward. Families can add touches of glitter or shimmering paint to mimic sunlight on water. Once planted, the greenery at the top completes the scene, turning each bottle into an ocean world alive with movement. Beyond their playful design, these bottles are functional hydroponic planters. Each one holds water and nutrients for herbs, conserving resources while producing food. Arranged in clusters on sand or gravel, they create the illusion of a shoreline reef brought to life in the garden. Perfect for patios, balconies, or themed corners, they add both freshness and beauty. For families, crafting aquarium gardens becomes a way to combine art, imagination, and gardening. Children especially enjoy painting fish and sea creatures, making each bottle unique. For communities, an aquarium-inspired garden can raise awareness about protecting marine ecosystems while showing how recycling can spark creativity. And when sunlight shines on their painted surfaces, the bottles shimmer like the sea, their herbs swaying like kelp in an invisible tide. It feels like the ocean has come ashore, proof that even discarded plastic can hold wonder, turning waste into a world of life and imagination. Castles awaken our imagination, with tall towers and hidden gardens whispering tales of magic and adventure. The bottle fairy tale castle towers bring that fantasy to life, transforming recycled bottles into enchanting fortresses of greenery. Imagine bottles painted in stone gray or pastel shades, detailed with tiny windows, brick-like textures, and colorful flags. From their top sprout herbs like basil and parsley, turning rooftops into living gardens fit for a storybook kingdom. The crafting process feels like building a miniature world. Old bottles are cut and shaped into turrets, then painted with details, stone bricks, archways, and golden spires. Families can add small flags made from paper or fabric, making each tower unique. Once planted, the greenery becomes a castle's crown, swaying gently like enchanted vines. Children especially delight in turning their bottles into magical kingdoms, each one home to imaginary knights, fairies, or dragons. Beyond their whimsical charm, these castle towers are functional hydroponic planters. They support herbs with water and nutrients, making them practical as well as decorative. Perfect for patios, garden corners, or even indoor displays, they serve as conversation pieces that combine play with sustainability. With fairy lights draped around them, they can glow at night like a kingdom under starlight. For families, crafting castle gardens is a journey into creativity, where storytelling meets gardening. For communities, clusters of these castles can decorate schools or parks, inspiring both children and adults with their charm. And when sunlight touches the painted towers, the bottles shine like fortresses in a fairy tale, their herbs rising like magical gardens above. It feels as though stories have taken root in the garden. Proof that even discarded plastic can become a castle of dreams crowned with life and imagination. Jungles are alive with energy, vines twisting, leaves cascading, and life flourishing in every corner. The bottled jungle vine's vertical garden captures that wild beauty, turning recycled bottles into a living wall of greenery. Imagine bottles painted in deep greens and earthy tones, arranged in rows on a wooden frame. From the tops, herbs and vines spill downward, creating the illusion of a vertical jungle alive with movement and freshness. The crafting process is adventurous and fun. Old bottles are cleaned, cut, and painted with leafy patterns or animal prints like tiger stripes or monkey silhouettes. Families can plant cascading herbs such as mint or parsley, as well as trailing vines that fall gracefully over sides. One stacked vertically, the bottles transform into a wall of life, vibrant and untamed. Children especially enjoy adding playful touches, painting jungle animals or arranging toy figures among the vines. Beyond its visual appeal, this design is highly functional. Each bottle acts as a hydroponic planter, conserving water while supporting healthy plant growth. The vertical structure maximizes space, making it ideal for urban balconies, small patios, or schoolyards. By day, it is a lush green wall. By evening, small string lights can add the sparkle of fireflies in the jungle night. For families, crafting jungle vine garden becomes a creative adventure, combining art, gardening, and play. For communities, a vertical jungle wall can bring color and freshness to shared spaces, teaching about ecosystems and sustainability. And when sunlight filters through the cascading herbs, the bottles glow like leaves in a rainforest canopy. It feels as though a piece of the jungle has taken root at home. Proof that even discarded plastic can become a thriving wall of wilderness, alive with nature and imagination. A garden pathway becomes magical when it glows, guiding footsteps with warmth and light. The bottle solar glow pathway planters bring that enchantment to life, turning recycled bottles into luminous guides crowned with greenery. Imagine bottles painted in soft frosted tones or shimmering golds, glowing gently from solar lights within. From the top sprout herbs like basil or mint, making each lantern a beacon not just of light, but of life. The crafting process is simple yet transformative. Old bottles are cleaned and painted with frosted or metallic finishes. Small solar lights are placed inside, charging during the day to shine at night. Families then plant herbs at the tops, combining the glow of lanterns with the freshness of gardens. Arranged along a walkway, the bottles create a living path that is both practical and beautiful. Children especially enjoy watching the lights flicker on as evening falls, turning the garden into a magical trail. Beyond their charm, these solar planters are practical hydroponic systems. They conserve water and space while producing herbs for cooking, all while doubling as eco-friendly lighting. Perfect for garden paths, patios, or community walkways, they transform ordinary spaces into glowing havens. For families, building solar glow gardens is an activity that brings both creativity and utility. For communities, rows of glowing bottles can become landmarks of beauty and sustainability, brightening shared paths while teaching eco-consciousness. And when twilight arrives, the bottles shine like tiny stars grounded in the earth, their herbs silhouetted above like crowns of green. It feels as though the pathway itself is alive, guiding with both light and life. Proof that even discarded plastic can glow again, reborn as lanterns of hope, beauty, and growth. The coastline is a place of peace. Waves breaking, shells scattered in the sand, and breezes carrying the scent of the sea. The bottle seashell coastline garden captures that calm beauty, transforming recycled bottles into planters that feel like treasures washed ashore. Imagine bottles painted in ocean blues and sandy beiges, decorated with shells, starfish, and tiny pearl-like accents. From their tops sprout herbs like basil or parsley, making them look like living shells growing with life. The crafting process is as relaxing as a day at the beach. Old bottles are cleaned and painted with soft tones that mimic sand and sea. Families can glue small shells, beads, or rope to add coastal textures. Children especially enjoy painting starfish and wave designs on the bottles. Once herbs are planted, the bottles become seaside treasures, ready to line a pathway or decorate a patio. Beyond their coastal charm, these bottles are functional hydroponic planters. They conserve water while supporting healthy herbs, perfect for small gardens, balconies, or even beachside cafes. Their decorative look makes them suitable for themed events or community spaces, turning ordinary plastic into art inspired by the sea. For families, crafting seashell bottle gardens feels like bottling up summer memories, an afternoon of creativity, laughter, and seaside storytelling. For communities, clusters of these planters can brighten parks, schools, or waterfronts, reminding people the importance of protecting oceans while reusing plastic. And when sunlight glints off the pearly surfaces and seashells, the bottles glow like treasures unearthed by the tide. Their herbs sway gently like sea grass in the breeze. It feels as though the ocean has left its gifts in the garden, proof that even discarded plastic can return as something beautiful, carrying the calm spirit of the shore. Zen gardens are built on simplicity, stone, sand, and balance coming together to create peace. The Bottle Zen Rock Balance planters carry that same spirit, transforming recycled bottles into miniature sculptures of calm. Imagine bottles painted in shades of gray and brown, stacked like smooth river stones. From their tops sprout herbs like basil or mint, turning each balanced shape into a living monument of serenity. The crafting process is soothing, almost meditative. Old bottles are cut and painted with stone-like finishes, using sponges or textured brushes to create natural patterns. Families can arrange them in stacked formations, mimicking the look of balancing rocks found in rivers or temples. Once planted, the greenery at the top adds a touch of life, like moss or grass growing from between stones. Children enjoy the challenge of stacking, while adults find calm in the rhythm of painting and arranging. Beyond their tranquil look, these bottles serve as functional hydroponic planters. Each one conserves water while producing herbs for cooking or tea. Their balanced arrangements also maximize space, making them ideal for patios, balconies, or meditation corners. By day, they add a calming accent. By night, soft lighting can turn them into glowing sculptures of peace. For families, creating Zen rock planters is a bonding experience that teaches balance, patience, and mindfulness. For communities, clusters of these planters can transform parks or schools into sanctuaries, reminding people of harmony between nature and creativity. And when sunlight casts gentle shadows across the painted stones, the bottles seem less like waste and more like wisdom, balanced, strong, and alive. Proof that even discarded plastic can find new equilibrium, becoming not just a planter, but a reminder of serenity in a busy world. A safari brings a wild to life, where animals roam free under the sun. The bottle safari animal planters capture that excitement, transforming recycled bottles into playful creatures that carry greenery on their backs. Imagine bottles painted into giraffes with long necks, elephants with wide ears, or zebras with bold stripes. From their tops sprout herbs like basil or mint, as though greenery has emerged from the universe itself. The crafting process is lively and full of imagination. Old bottles are cleaned, cut, and painted with animal patterns. Families can use sponges or brushes to create stripes, spots, or fur textures. Some bottles can even be shaped with cardboard ears, tails, or horns to bring the animals to life. Once planted, the herbs complete the illusion, animals that walk with gardens on their backs. Children especially love naming their creations and watching them grow. Beyond their playful charm, these safari animals are functional hydroponic planters. They conserve water and space while supporting herbs, making them practical for kitchens, balconies, or classrooms. Arranged in groups, they create a mini safari scene, turning a simple corner into a lively ecosystem. For families, crafting safari planters is both fun and educational, sparking conversations about wildlife and conservation. For communities, Clusters of animal bottles can decorate schools or parks, inspiring both creativity and eco-awareness. And when sunlight touches their painted patterns, the animals look as though they are marching across a savanna of green. Their herbs sway like manes or leafy tails in the breeze. It feels as though safari has come home, proof that even discarded plastic can roar back to life, carrying the spirit of the wild into everyday gardens. The lotus is a flower of purity, rising from the mud to bloom with elegance and grace. The bottle origami lotus hanging garden captures that symbolism, turning recycled bottles into blossoms that seem to float in the air. Imagine bottles cut and folded into layered petals, painted in soft shades of pink, white, and gold. From their centers sprout herbs like basil or mint, making each lotus not only beautiful but alive with growth. The crafting process feels almost meditative. Old bottles are carefully cut into petal shapes and arranged in layers to form lotus flowers. Families then paint them with delicate gradients, adding shimmering gold or pearly finishes to highlight the edges. Once herbs are planted in the centers, the blossoms come to life, gardens blooming in midair. Hung with transparent strings on a pergola or tree, they sway gently in the breeze like floating flowers. Beyond their serene beauty, these lotus planters are functional hydroponic systems. Each bottle sustains herbs with water and nutrients, conserving resources while producing food. Perfect for patios, balconies, or meditation corners, they bring calm and life to spaces large or small. With soft lighting at night, they glow like lantern lotuses drifting in the sky. For families, creating lotus gardens is a chance to slow down, paint carefully, and appreciate nature's beauty. For communities, clusters of lotus bottles can transform schools, parks, or temples into sanctuaries of creativity and peace. And when sunlight filters through the painted petals, the bottles glow softly, their herbs rising like radiant cores. It feels as though each lotus carries not just plants, but hope, proof that even discarded plastic can bloom again, reborn as flowers of life, beauty, and renewal. Windmills have always stood as symbols of energy, motion, and harvest. The bottle windmill herb towers carry that tradition forward, transforming recycled bottles into tiny wind towers that grow life instead of grinding grain. Imagine bottles painted in crisp white with bold red or blue accents, stacked into vertical towers. At the top, spinning blades made from plastic scraps turn gently in the breeze, while herbs like basil and mint sprout upward, crowning the tower with green. The crafting process is both playful and inventive. Old bottles are cut and painted, then arranged in vertical formations. Families can create blades from extra plastic, cardboard, or even wood, attaching them with simple sticks or pins, so they can spin with the wind. Once herbs are planted at the top, the planters become living windmills, symbols of both sustainability and growth. Children especially enjoy seeing the blades turn while the plants grow, blending motion with nature. Beyond their charming look, these windmill towers are practical hydroponic systems. Each bottle conserves water while producing herbs, making them ideal for small gardens, patios, or balconies. Their vertical structures save space while adding movement to the garden. With small lights placed near the blades, they can even glow at night, spinning like lanterns in the breeze. For families, crafting windmill gardens is an activity that inspires teamwork, storytelling, and joy. For communities, rows of bottle windmills can create eye-catching installations that celebrate eco-conscious creativity while teaching about renewable energy. And when sunlight shines on the painted towers, their blades turning softly, the bottles seem alive, standing proudly as guardians of both wind and green. Proof that even discarded plastic can harness motion, energy, and life, reborn as towers of sustainability and imagination. Candy colors bring joy and sweetness, lighting up any space with their playful charm. The bottle candy color vertical garden captures that happiness, transforming recycled bottles into a wall of pastel brightness blooming with herbs. Imagine bottles painted in glossy pinks, sunny yellows, soft purples, and turquoise blues stacked vertically in neat rows. From their top sprout herbs like basil, parsley, and mint, creating a cheerful display that feels like a candy shop for the eyes. The crafting process is lively and fun. Old bottles are cleaned, cut, and painted with pastel shades or candy-like stripes. Families can experiment with gradients and glossy finishes, making each bottle look like a piece of candy. Once planted, the herbs rise above, turning the colorful bottles into living sweets. Children especially enjoy this design, as it feels playful and vibrant, like creating gardens out of lollipops and marshmallows. Beyond its fun aesthetic, the candy garden is a functional hydroponic system. Each bottle conserves water and provides nutrients for herbs, making it both sustainable and productive. Its vertical structure is perfect for balconies, patios, or even kitchen walls, where it brings freshness and charm to everyday spaces. With fairy lights added, the bottles can glow at night like jars of glowing candy. For families, crafting candy-colored gardens is a joyful bonding activity, filled with painting, laughter, and planning together. For communities, such vibrant walls can brighten schools, parks, or cafes, inspiring smiles while teaching the value of recycling. And when sunlight hits the glossy colors, the bottles shine like candies in a shop window, their herbs swaying above like whipped cream toppings. It feels like sweetness brought to life, proof that even discarded plastic can bloom into joy, color, and green abundance. Masks have always been powerful symbols, used in rituals, dances, and celebrations to tell stories and embody culture. The bottle tribal mask planters carry that spirit into the garden, transforming recycled bottles into vibrant guardians of greenery. Imagine bottles painted with bold lines and striking colors, earthy reds, blacks, yellows, and whites, each design inspired by traditional tribal art. From their top sprout herbs like basil and mint, resembling leafy headdresses that complete the masks. The crafting process feels both artistic and meaningful. Old bottles are cut clean and painted with tribal patterns, geometric shapes, spirals, and bold lines that evoke strength and tradition. Families can experiment with different color schemes, making each mask unique. Once herbs are planted, the planters come alive, as though the masks themselves are breathing with nature. Children especially enjoy painting dramatic faces, giving each planter its own personality. Beyond their cultural beauty, these bottles are functional hydroponic planters. They conserve water while sustaining herbs and greens, making them practical as well as decorative. Arranged along a fence or garden wall, they create a striking display that feels both artistic and alive. At night, with soft lighting, they appear like glowing guardians watching over the garden. For families, crafting tribal mask planters is a way to explore culture, art, and sustainability together. For communities, a wall of these masks can become a cultural landmark, reminding everyone of the richness of tradition while teaching the value of recycling. And when sunlight falls on their painted patterns, the bottles seem to glow with life, their herbs rising like crowns of green. It feels like each planter carries a story, proof that even discarded plastic can embody art, heritage, and renewal, reborn as cultural guardians of the garden. Terrariums hold the magic of a world within glass, a small ecosystem that thrives on balance and care. The bottle terrarium mini-worlds bring that wonder into everyday life, transforming recycled bottles into tiny gardens where nature tells its story. Imagine bottles cut and reshaped into clear chambers, filled with moss, pebbles, and small herbs. Some include little figurines or decorative stones, turning each bottle into a universe of its own. The crafting process feels like creating living art. Old bottles are cleaned and cut to form windows that reveal their contents. Families can layer soil, sand, and small stones at the base, then add moss, herbs, or even succulents. Children especially enjoy adding miniature decorations, tiny animals, fairies, or houses, to give their terrariums a sense of story. Once finished, the bottles become clear worlds, thriving with life while telling unique tales. Beyond their beauty, these terrariums are functional hydroponic or soil-based planters. They conserve water and space, making them ideal for apartments, offices, or small homes. Their enclosed design helps maintain humidity, allowing plants to thrive with minimal care. Perfect for display on desks, shelves, or windowsills, they bring freshness and calm to any room. For families, crafting terrarium bottles is an afternoon of imagination and creativity, mixing science with storytelling. For communities, exhibitions of mini worlds can inspire curiosity, teaching about ecosystems and sustainability in a way that feels magical. And when sunlight passes to the bottle walls, illuminating the moss and plants inside, it feels like peering into a hidden forest. Each terrarium becomes a story in itself, proof that even discarded plastic can hold entire worlds, reborn as sanctuaries of life, wonder, and renewal. Jellyfish float gracefully through the ocean, their translucent bodies glowing like lanterns beneath the waves. The bottle-hanging jellyfish garden captures that dreamlike beauty, turning recycled bottles into playful sea creatures that bloom with herbs. Imagine bottles painted in soft blues, purples, and pinks, with long ribbons dangling as tentacles. From the top sprout herbs like basil or mint, completing the illusion of jellyfish drifting gently in the air. The crafting process is creative and whimsical. Old bottles are cut and shaped to mimic the rounded bell of a jellyfish. Families then paint them with translucent gradients, adding shimmer or glow-in-the-dark paint for a magical effect at night. Ribbons, yarn, or fabric strips are attached to the bottoms, swaying like tentacles in the breeze. Once herbs are planted, the jellyfish come alive, looking as though they are swimming above the garden. Beyond their enchanting design, these planters are practical hydroponic systems. Each bottle holds water and nutrient for herbs, making them sustainable as well as decorative. Hung from pergolas, trees, or patios, they turn empty air into a sea of motion and greenery. By day, they shimmer like floating lanterns. By night, with soft lights inside, they glow like deep-sea wonders. For families, crafting jellyfish planters is a delightful activity that sparks imagination, blending ocean themes with gardening. For communities, clusters of jellyfish bottles can decorate coastal areas, schools, or festivals, raising awareness about marine life while celebrating recycling. And when sunlight passes through their painted surfaces, casting colorful reflections, the jellyfish bottles look alive, drifting softly in the breeze. It feels as though the ocean has risen into the air, proof that even discarded plastic can float again, reborn as creatures of beauty, life, and light. Fireflies light up summer nights, tiny sparks floating through the air like living stars. The bottle firefly glow hydroponics captures that magic, transforming recycled bottles into glowing lanterns crowned with herbs. Imagine bottles painted in dark tones of green and black, dotted with glowing yellow spots. From their top sprout herbs like basil or mint, while soft LED lights inside make them glow like jars of living fireflies. The crafting process feels enchanting and playful. Old bottles are cut and painted with glowing dots, some using glow-in-the-dark paint, others enhanced with small LEDs placed inside. Families can decorate them with wings or tiny painted eyes, giving each bottle a firefly personality. Once arranged in clusters, they resemble glowing insects gathered at dusk. Children especially love seeing them light up when the sun goes down, turning the garden into a magical night scene. Beyond their glowing charm, these bottles are functional hydroponic planters. Each one supports herbs while conserving water, making them both sustainable and decorative. By day, they serve as whimsical planters. By night, they glow with a warm light, perfect for patios, garden paths, or evening gatherings. For families, crafting firefly planters is an activity that mixes creativity with wonder, offering both daytime greenery and nighttime magic. For communities, firefly-themed installations can decorate festivals, parks, or schools, spreading joy while teaching about recycling. And when twilight deepens, the bottles glow softly, their herbs silhouetted above like crowns. The effect is mesmerizing, like a garden filled with fireflies captured in bottles, but alive with plants instead of insects. Proof that even discarded plastic can light up the night, reborn as symbols of sustainability, imagination, and hope. Medieval shields once stood as symbols of courage, guarding knights in battle and carrying the marks of their clans. The bottle medieval shield planters bring that strength into garden, turning recycled bottles into proud emblems of life. Imagine bottles painted in metallic silvers and bronzes, decorated with bold red and gold crests. From their top sprout herbs like basil or mint, resembling warrior plumes waving in the breeze. The crafting process feels bold and creative. Old bottles are cut and painted to mimic shield surfaces, complete with metallic finishes and heraldic designs. Families can paint lines, crosses, or geometric shapes, making each shield unique. Once herbs are planted, the bottles look like defenders of the garden, standing tall and alive. Children especially enjoy designing their own family crests, turning the activity into both art and storytelling. Beyond their striking design, these bottles are functional hydroponic planters. They conserve water and space while producing herbs, making them practical as well as decorative. Arranged together on a fence or wall, they create the illusion of a shield wall, an eco-friendly fortress protecting the garden. With soft lighting at night, they glow like illuminated crests of honor. For families, crafting shield planters is an adventurous activity, sparking stories of knights, castles, and bravery. For communities, a wall of shield bottles can serve as an artistic installation, blending history with sustainability. And when sunlight gleams across a metallic paint, the bottles shine like armor, their herbs swaying like plumes of victory. It feels as though the spirit of courage is rooted in the garden. Proof that even discarded plastic can stand as a symbol of protection, strength, and renewal. A spiral staircase feels elegant, rising gracefully while drawing the eye upward. The bottle spiral staircase herb garden captures that elegance, transforming recycled bottles into a vertical spiral alive with greenery. Imagine bottles painted in warm earth tones or cheerful pastels, stacked step by step into a twisting tower. From the top sprout herbs like basil, mint, and parsley, creating a lush spiral that feels both artistic and practical. The crafting process is creative and rewarding. Old bottles are cut, painted, and arranged onto a circular frame or stacked upward in a corkscrew formation. Families can choose color themes, natural stone shades for a rustic feel, or candy pastels for a playful look. Once planted, the herbs grow layer by layer, completing the illusion of a staircase leading upward into greenery. Children especially enjoy helping with the spiral arrangement, watching as each level builds into something grand. Beyond its striking shape, the spiral garden is a functional hydroponic system. Each bottle holds water and nutrients for herbs, conserving resources while maximizing vertical space. Perfect for patios, balconies, or small backyards, it allows for many plants in a compact area. With soft lighting added, the spiral can glow at night like a garden sculpture. For families, crafting spiral staircase planters becomes a shared project of design and imagination. For communities, such structures can serve as landmarks, blending architecture with eco-friendly gardening. And when sunlight casts shadows along the spiral, the bottles gleam like steps carved from color and life. Their herbs sway gently, as though guiding the eye upward in a dance of growth. Proof that even discarded plastic can rise again, reborn as a staircase of sustainability, creativity, and beauty. Rainbows and waterfalls both carry magic, color and motion blending into something breathtaking. The bottle rainbow waterfall wall captures that wonder, turning recycled bottles into a vertical garden alive with flowing water and greenery. Imagine bottles painted in vivid rainbow hues, stacked in rows so water trickles gently from one to the next. From the top sprout herbs like basil or mint, creating the illusion of a rainbow waterfall where plants bloom with every drop. The crafting process is vibrant and refreshing. Old bottles are cleaned, painted in rainbow shades, and arranged vertically against a wooden or stone wall. Families can connect them with tubes or small holes so water flows downward, cascading gently like a miniature waterfall. Once herbs are planted, the bottles glow with color and life. Children especially enjoy painting the rainbow sequence and watching water dance across the design. Beyond its dazzling look, the waterfall wall is a functional hydroponic system. The flowing water recycles itself through the bottles, conserving resources while nourishing herbs. Perfect for patios, balconies, or small urban gardens, it transforms limited space into a colorful and sustainable oasis. With added lights, the water sparkles at night, creating a spectacle of color and motion. For families, crafting the rainbow waterfall wall is a joyful mix of art and science, painting, planting, and experimenting with water flow. For communities, such a display can brighten schools, parks, or festivals, reminding everyone of the beauty of recycling and nature combined. And when sunlight shines through the falling water, the bottles shimmer like jewels, their herbs swaying gently above. It feels as though a rainbow has descended into the garden, proof that even discarded plastic can flow again, reborn as waterfalls of color, life, and hope. Lanterns bring warmth and celebration, glowing softly in the night as symbols of hope. The bottle bonsai lantern planters combine that tradition with nature, turning recycled bottles into glowing vessels of greenery. Imagine bottles painted in vibrant reds, oranges, and golds, decorated with delicate cutout patterns. Small lights inside make them glow at twilight, while bonsai-style herbs sprout from the tops like crowns of life. The crafting process is both artistic and heartwarming. Old bottles are cut and painted with lantern motifs, swirls, florals, or geometric shapes that glow when illuminated. Families can add LED or solar lights inside, then plant herbs such as basil, mint, or parsley at the top. Children especially enjoy designing the glowing patterns, watching how light transforms their artwork at night. When arranged in clusters, the bottles resemble a garden festival, glowing with warmth and life. Beyond their festive look, these bottles are functional hydroponic planters. They conserve water while nourishing herbs, making them practical as well as beautiful. Perfect for patios, balconies, or community spaces. They add charm by day and magic by night. At festivals or family gatherings, the lanterns become living decorations, offering both light and fresh herbs. For families, crafting bonsai lantern planters is a bonding experience that mixes tradition with sustainability. For communities, a display of glowing bottle lanterns can turn gardens into cultural celebrations, reminding people that beauty and eco-consciousness can shine together. And when twilight falls, the bottles glow like tiny suns, their herbs rising proudly above. It feels as though each lantern carries both light and life, proof that even discarded plastic can shine again, reborn as guardians of growth, culture, and joy. The night sky has always inspired wonder, its stars reminding us of infinite possibilities. The bottle galaxy Starfield Garden brings a celestial magic to Earth, transforming recycled bottles into cosmic planters glowing with life. Imagine bottles painted in gradients of navy blue, purple, and black, scattered with shimmering stars and swirling galaxies. From their tops sprout herbs like basil or mint, as though greenery has emerged from the universe itself. The crafting process feels like painting the cosmos. Old bottles are cleaned and coated with deep colors, then sponged with white and metallic paints to mimic nebulae and constellations. Families can add glow-in-the-dark stars or tiny planet designs, turning each bottle into a miniature galaxy. Once herbs are planted, the bottles become symbols of life blooming among the stars. Children especially love using glow paints, watching their bottles shine softly in the dark. Beyond their cosmic beauty, these bottles are practical hydroponic planters. They conserve water while producing fresh herbs, making them both sustainable and artistic. Perfect for patios, balconies, or meditation spaces, they create an atmosphere of wonder and calm. With fairy lights or LED accents, the bottles glow at night like constellations brought to Earth. For families, crafting galaxy planters is a creative journey that blends art, science, and imagination. For communities, Starfield Gardens can serve as captivating installations, inspiring curiosity about the universe while promoting eco-conscious living. And when twilight deepens, the bottles shimmer with painted stars, their herbs rising above like life reaching toward the sky. It feels as though the cosmos has descended into the garden, proof that even discarded plastic can become galaxies of hope, reborn as universes of beauty, sustainability, and dreams.